smoking 5 beans on it, and they bloomed. They got that level and then started another level. It looked like the Amazon jungle. I could have been Tarzan. And
I put down 4 tomato plants, all Bonnie brand. One of them's already produced, died, and I pulled it.
Yeah.
Another one's about to do that. What's happened to my tomato plants? Why are they?
There is something I don't know that you get with it. It's wilt.
That's what it looks like.
It's wilt, and like I said, my dad. And once you get that stuff, it kind of contaminates the cages and stuff. But you can order. Dad used to order his seed from the seed company, and get his own soil and grow his own tomato plants.
Well, I bought these plants. In fact, I bought 2 like $19 ones, already blooming. Didn't do me a bit of good.
Sorry, Mayor.
Well, how do you get rid of wilt?
They make stuff to co-op.
Do they?
Buy to co-op.
That's exactly what got mine.
Yeah, it'll do that. I've done everything. I went and pruned the bottom of it, so no leaves are touching the ground. Pruned the bottom of it, all. Best thing to do is put them out early, and then when they start that, put you another 4 or 5 plants out that'll
I
start.
told Sarah the other day, I said, maybe we put a couple more out, but we got to do the math. They won't do
Buddy,
it.
you ready?
Yeah.
You are.
Okay,
Coming.
all right. I'm gonna call the Loudon County Commission workshop to order for August 17th, 2020. We are live on Loudon TV 3,
No.
Redskin Radio, and YouTube.
Oh, all of them.
Yep.
Woo.
First up is comments by the general public. Go ahead.
Mr. Commissioner, Commission, I just wanted to let you all know, I was involved in a committee that the city of Loudon put together to look at tornado sirens. And I'm not here to speak on behalf of the city of Loudon or anything, but I just wanted to let you all know that on next Monday, they will be conducting some siren tests on this end of the county at 7 and 7:30 p.m. They've got a demonstration that's going to be put on by their vendor. And I just wanted to make everybody aware, we're trying to get the word out that if people hear sirens on Monday night, it's a test, it's a planned test, and nothing is wrong.
Go to your fallout shelter.
Thank you, Jim.
How much do those things cost?
I believe the spec on it was 102,000.
For one?
Free.
That'll cover the whole city?
When strategically placed, it should cover the whole city, yes.
Well, that's good.
I just want to let y'all know, so if you were to get phone calls, on your personal phones, you'd be
Who
aware.
pushes the button
That's what it is.
to notify people?
It's usually at the fire department.
Probably
Police
911.
I was far out
For
at that
911.
point in time, it's not gonna get.
Okay,
Like in the drama, what happens? So there's a clown.
so everybody out who's watching this at the comfort of their home will now know that what's gonna happen next Monday night. Thank you, Chip. Jim Jenkins, tell us about a zoning change in District 1.
Yes, sir. This is a resolution amending the zoning map of Loudon County, Tennessee pursuant to Chapter 7, Section 13-7-105 of Tennessee Code annotated to rezone approximately 1.69 acres from C2 General Commercial District to C1 Rural Center District, Loudon County Tax Map 50, Parcel 193.02, located at 299 Davis Ferry Road, Loudon County, Tennessee, situated in the first legislative district.
Okay.
What will the property be used for?
At this time, he's looking to do more of a residential, doing a residence, possibly single-family duplex, which is allowed in the C1 zoning district, but not the C2 zoning
And
district.
that would not be too far from a duplex there already, I believe.
And that is correct. It's a permissive use, and there's surrounding properties that are C1.
Actually, Jim Russell's property, and, he had it zoned last year
For the
or
trailer, yeah, for the.
to put in the storage units, and he's going back. It was just way too expensive.
72 that goes.
Okay.
And there's the map, by the way, up on, our lovely TV. Oh, how nice.
Oh, boy.
And
Yes.
Jim, that went 7-0 at the zoning board.
Yes.
Okay. That'll be on 9/8, which will be a Tuesday because Monday is Labor Day.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
The Honorable Mayor Buddy Bradshaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The proclamation, I'll have it ready for Dr. Guider, night of the meeting. I'll invite him to check us in on, I guess, Zoom or.
He ain't
or
coming,
something. It would surprise me if he did. He's not gotten out much during
Nor his brother.
COVID pandemic. I ain't gonna sit here. You get me sidetracked. The boards and committees, I'm not ready to, on 1 and 2, I'm not ready to act.
Okay.
3 and 4 and 5 are still, those are as what they are. Industrial Bond Development Board, the IDB for the county. I've talked to a couple folks, nobody really interested. I wanna step back again. I'm also trying to find out specifically, if they're district related or how. And so those are the changes on 3, 4, and 5 that are there. And, I'll answer any questions the commission may have.
I didn't know I had come off the agricultural committee. I didn't know, you were on it. Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It hadn't met since I've.
Well, that was me. I didn't know I'd come off because I've been on it since 14.
Right.
So I got no problem with whatever they are.
No.
Now, my question to Tammy will be, at some point, a new master list.
You'll have it after the September
After the
meeting,
vote.
once I get the final stuff. 'Cause
All right.
August and September are the ones that have the most. As
Oh,
soon
yeah,
as I
yeah,
get
that's
that
the new-
complete,
that's
I've
the
got
new
it marked on my desk to give to you. Let's go get it. Stapled and page numbers.
No
All right,
recommendation
staple
on
page
1 and 2.
No, I'm not ready for those just yet.
So I'm eliminating 1, 2, and 6.
That's correct.
3, 4, 5 will be on September 8th commission meeting.
I do
Yes.
have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, did you, let Steve, Cook know?
Those 3.
Did you send him an email, or did we need to let him know about the ethics committee?
He'll be there Wednesday at 12.
You can't
Okay, so
serve.
he already knows.
What do you mean?
We got to vote on it.
Well, yeah, he's still gonna come. Yeah, he's gonna come to the meeting regardless of which. No, wait a minute. We had a special call for tonight. At 6 o'clock, advertised.
Not for that. And it wasn't ever advertised. You had a special call for the,
Mayor,
merit board,
it was canceled.
and you canceled it.
And it was
I
canceled.
thought we had, I
suggestion-
thought we'd advertised for the, did we not advertise for
Didn't
it?
advertise for either one of them.
No, the one that was called for at 6 was canceled.
I thought we switched it. I'm sorry. I thought I needed to switch.
Okay.
Anyway, and we'll still have a quorum, so.
Yeah, as long as you got three, you're
I thought
good.
we'd advertised that one. I'm
Nope.
sorry, that's my fault. I'll let that slip.
Which one is it, the ethics?
Steve Cook's going on the ethics committee
Okay.
on Baker, right? You
Yes.
understand?
I
He's
thought
the-
we had him on the last agenda.
No,
No,
Scott
it was
Newman.
Scott
It was gonna be Scotty and Buddy pulled it off.
Yeah.
Pulled it. Okay.
Nobody gave us 2 out of the first district.
You're right.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next up, Commissioner Van Shaver.
I have no particular thing here other than, and I won't leave personalities, names, everything out of this. In my 20 years, and I don't know about anybody else, it never crossed my mind that we would have an elected commissioner that chose not to participate in meetings regularly. We all miss, well, I don't, but everybody misses one every now and then. Like Adam's getting a baby, he's gonna take one off next month. Just little insignificant things like that, but
Getting the baby.
getting a baby.
You get a baby from the store.
Do we,
The shipping goes.
should we
Amazon.
do,
Overnight.
should we do something within our policy to address the fact that if the day comes that we have one of our members that just refuses to participate, that we can take financial actions? I know TCA, and I meant to bring that with me, I can get it, I think Adam may even have it too, but there's a TCA that says you have to attend the meetings to be paid. Now, a lot of times that applies to the $35 per meeting. If you don't attend, you don't get paid. That's not how we operate. We get a stipend. I don't know, it kind of bothers me to think that we could have somebody that's elected and hold the responsibilities, never ever show up for a workshop, and then pop into a meeting and start voting on stuff they have no clue what they're voting on. Should we do anything? I'm not making a suggestion. I'm just asking the question to see what everybody else thinks.
What's HR say?
It's a policy set forth by commission, and personalities aside out of all of it.
Take all that out of it.
My concern is that person answers really to the taxpayers as well. And again, that's just my opinion on it. I guess I don't have a single vote on it. I think the policy itself is set that it can be changed, but
What the policy say, I don't think that addresses this.
I know,
We've got
you know,
nothing
like beer
addresses
board, I think it's beer board you have to attend to get paid. How does solid
Planning.
waste?
Solid waste, if you're not there, you don't get paid.
Planning commission's the same way.
Well, there's three. Now, does it stretch all the way up to county commission,
It should.
TCA?
this. That would be our choice, I think.
I think it's a greater responsibility then, because we're the ones that are eligible for health care, and dental, and vision, and retirement, and all
Wow.
kinds of stuff.
But
So-
you have to understand something too, like on solid waste, we don't have a workshop and then a meeting. So what I'm hearing him say too is, do we deal with it as workshop and meeting?
Absolutely.
What does the current policy say?
I don't think there's anything
Either
addressing
a
the
commissioner
issue.
technically would never has to show up again once they're elected and can draw the check and insurance.
Mr. Mayor, I concur with Van. The people had the trust to elect us to this position. We are representing the people of this county. I would suggest or make a recommendation that you refer to the county attorney, and if we can put something in writing and make it where that we should be accountable, because once again, we're breaking public trust of the people that elected us to these positions.
I like that idea. It scared me deadly more to ask Bob Bowman anything, but I think that's the right track to ask Bowman if we do have some authority, if we can put something in our board policy that requires. Now, again, people are gonna miss a meeting every now and then. There's no question. There's gonna be things come up. But to openly say, I'm not going because I don't care what they're doing, I don't need that, I know what's going on. I mean, that's what somebody could possibly say in the future. I'm not saying anybody said that now, but
Well, I was told that they didn't have to, the law or whatever doesn't require them to attend workshops.
and that's probably correct, because workshops are optional. We do that for our own ability to learn and know what's going on. That's why we have our workshops, so that we'll be prepared for our voting meetings. So if we set workshops as a necessary meeting for us, I'm sure, well, again, let's get from Bob Bowman and see if we can set a policy that says short of
We can find that on CTAS, but now, keep in mind, is it just workshops and meetings? Is it committee meetings and meetings? Cause you give a mayor an awful lot of power right there.
I don't know what you're saying.
Well, I could put.
Does it apply to
I could
budget
put Adam on every
Well-
committee coming and going, and the first time he missed 3 in a year, even though it was beyond his control, all of a sudden he could start losing money.
I
I'll
think,
never miss an adult-oriented business meeting.
I don't think appointed boards like ethics and that, we don't get paid for any of those.
No.
Planning Commission does, Solid Waste Commission does, but our appointed boards, no, I don't think that, I don't even matter.
So you're-
Because the mayor's not gonna appoint somebody that they know is chronically not gonna show up. In fact, I think that's been rectified with our most recent appointments.
So you're talking just workshops and.
Workshops,
commission
county
meetings
commission
itself?
meetings, and any special call meetings of the county, of the
Special
legislative
call. Are
body.
you talking a certain amount or a percentage or?
I think it
Well-
would need to be a case by case. Why can't you be there?
I would.
Oh, I don't want somebody
doing.
No, I think it needs to be
Excuse me.
75% or some number.
I would like to say something. We are elected by the people, and I don't think there's anybody sitting on this board that would say right now, sitting here right now, that would say you have a problem with not coming to meetings. So, I mean, I'm all for 100%. We can put whatever we need to in our policy, because I will support it 100% to say, yes, I don't have a problem with it, because I got elected by the people, I'm here to represent the people expect me to be here, and I'm gonna be here. And I think everybody else feels the same way.
Be thinking between now and September what that is. Then also, does it apply to benefits? If you don't attend 75%,
Well,
you waive benefits.
benefits come from day one, and the county's gonna pay those benefits. Is it what about when if a commissioner chose to miss, they missed whatever X number of meetings that was beyond what this commission sets. County's already paid for or will pay for the insurance.
Do they pay it back?
Because I look at it as, do they become almost a part-time employee when they miss 25%, and do they lose their eligibility for benefits?
I think the benefit part would come up in the annual reassessment of June. I think that when the insurance, the county insurance stuff is in June is when you enroll or change and that
You
sort of stuff.
can, but any major change.
Right. But what I'm saying is that would be the time, okay, if Commissioner X, and we're talking as much about the future as we are the current. Let's just make this very clear. This is not just about now. We have just been exposed to a loophole in our system whereby you can draw down $20,000+ a year and essentially not have to do anything. It's what it comes down to.
But this,
I don't know. Let's
I'll be
ask
devil's
Bob.
advocate.
Let's
I think
ask
they
that
Bob.
will
might come
turn
back-
that to
does not come
Bob.
down to the voters to decide if their commissioner's doing their job?
But the voters can't rectify that problem for 4 years, and in 4 years, the voters have gotten a short shaft on a whole lot of work. Let's ask Bob. Get an opinion from Bob. How
I
about that?
honestly
That's
feel
what I
like
would do.
we might not be able to touch benefits. We probably can't touch benefits, and that's just me speculating. But we can touch what we get paid to be on this board. So even if we can't touch the benefits, I think we make a policy at least about our pay. If you miss,
Pay is set by commission, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
This is
And do you forfeit all your pay? I mean, like,
before.
how is it done? How's it structured?
Let's ask Bob, do we have the authority to dictate attendance or to take attendance into consideration, pay for commissioners, benefits for commissioners? I can send Bob a very simple question like that he almost can't get a wiggle around out of. Just as simple as we can make it, and let's see what he says before we go into deciding if it needs to be 75% or 60 or 90 or whatever it is. What do you think about that?
Well, you could start out with non-punitive by kind of like government does with a censure from the county commission. You know, start out, you're not attending and
Little nasty note from Henry.
after so many, after you've missed so many, and I consider workshops mandatory since our policy is that you can't vote on anything that hasn't been in
Absolutely.
the workshop.
Absolutely.
I'm also like Kelly, I don't think there's any need of delving into, insurance and stuff. But you can take whatever the pay is, divide it by the number
24.
of months. And like I said, if they make a commission meeting, no workshop, then they get half the pay that month.
So maybe look at something along the lines of counting, start that the workshops themselves become a mandatory.
Official
just like
meeting.
Official.
Yeah.
Like Bill says, we can't vote on it unless it comes here first, so that makes that's a pretty important meeting.
And then,
You gonna talk to Bob?
Yep.
All right.
then you get into arbitrary, do we want to say within a calendar year, you can miss X number of meetings without any penalty.
We kind of exclude committee meetings itself.
Yeah, forget committee meetings. Long time ago, I
Buddy
thought,
can take care of that. If they're not coming to committee meetings, we can
oh yeah, that's fixable.
take care of them. But, we gotta decide, within a 12-month span, if they miss more than 2 or miss more than 3, or whatever you want to
Whatever.
decide on, either commission meeting or workshop meeting, that's the 2 I'd count. And
I
like I
think
said,
there are some committees that you have, maybe that you appoint that a person doesn't attend so many, they're off of it, don't you?
Well, I know that, TASER is like that. If I don't, is it 75% of the year, if you miss more than, I think 2 consecutive, then you're replaced. A lot of state level meetings are like that.
I don't think we ought to be paying people, be going to Nashville and paying their hotels and motels and stuff when they're not making a commitment to do their duty either. So chunk that one into the conversation.
but I think that would probably be
Not anymore.
somebody that just would have to decide, and then
Not anymore.
She's not even on the committee anymore.
Mr.
Tennessee County Commissioner
Does
Association, she's
the school
secretary.
board have a policy?
Then she's on
Not that I'm aware
TCCA
of.
now, so.
They have, but their policies
We're
are,
not gonna pay for it.
like they can do electronic,
Buddy says she's still on there.
like when I was at the
Not
beach and
represented.
drove back,
Mhm.
I couldn't do an electronic
For us.
for commission. It's more stringent.
Okay, here's what'll happen. We'll leave it
because of the
off.
Financial.
And I agree with Kelly and everybody that said, you're elected by the people, you have an obligation to perform the duties to which you were elected to. We'll let Buddy take that to Bob Bowman and get us an answer, and we'll go from there.
Here's another one that just came up. she was removed from the Governmental Affairs Committee
CCA representative.
from the, as the county representative, but she remains secretary of this, so she doesn't represent the county, so who's paying for her travel to Nashville for that?
I bet they've not
Well,
met
we've
in a
not
long
met
time.
since she come off the
Well,
committee.
we're not
so
gonna pay for it.
Well, I mean, we gotta discuss that.
That's something to discuss, because under county policy, we can.
She's not our appointment. Harold Duff's our
But that's a
appointee
role, her role as commissioner,
To what?
to
to
this.
serve on that committee, still
Yeah,
falls
but
under
he-
county guidelines.
But she's the secretary?
Statewide, yes.
But not for the, she doesn't represent the county there anymore, though.
She has no
elected
business
by the
being
board.
there.
Yeah, so who's gonna, so should that board pay for her travel, or should we pay for her travel?
The board should.
The board should pay for her travel because as
Yeah.
I was on TCRS, okay, and I was appointed by, Representative Will Russell, that board, TCRS, paid my expenses, not the county,
That's the way it is with Tassar. State
Yeah.
pays for my expenses on
so
Tassar.
the board
Yeah,
should pay
on
my
these
expenses.
committees.
So I guess we need to figure out who
Well,
pays for this, we need to address it.
Her name needs to be off of that from Loudon County. She can be their secretary, but she's not representing Loudon County.
While we're talking about replacing,
Yeah,
I
they sit over there,
would like to
not
include in that the solid waste board. I think we need to seriously look at either 1, 2, or 3 replacements on that board. And I asked Mr. Bowman at our last ethics meeting if he would look into that. So when you're contacting him about this, ask him if he's had a chance to look at, if it's a simple matter of you saying we're gonna we can replace them and the commission approve it, or if there's a step process we need to go through. Withholding information, that kind of information, to me, is tantamount to lying to the county and doing his job, and I think we need to do something about it.
Okay. Buddy, will you refer that to Bob
Make you a good
Bowman
list and
too?
give that to Anita in the morning, first thing.
Yes, I will.
Okay,
This,
thank you.
what you all was talking about here a while ago, has come up, the attendance has come up on this very issue, a couple of times since, I've been on the commission. It comes up, but it never has passed. I don't know what that, is or not, but nobody knows whether you can do that, and that's what, Bob Bowman is going to, supposedly, figure out for us.
I wonder if by statute if we can.
That's what I'm talking
I'm
about.
gonna look at CTAS first before I send it to Bob, and maybe something.
No, send it to
The
Bob.
salary's set, and that's it.
Send it to Bob. Send it to Bob.
I'm trying to keep us under retainer too. We've not done very well with that the
Send it
last
to
2
Bob.
months. I don't hear anybody crying about lawyer bills.
We'll wrap a little bit more in a minute. That's a different story.
No, I'd be interested on both of those requests on what he
Yes.
has to say.
Okay.
The only thing about county committee, you get into some situations like, what if that commissioner is absent because they are on commission business? If they're having to attend something or be in presence of something, you're gonna have to allow for that. What if they come down with COVID-19 and are hospitalized have to be in the hospital? you
Or if
know?
they're assistant director of Loudon County Board of Education, they've gotta be at a school function.
You know. They do what?
They're assistant director of Loudon County School.
Well, I'm just saying, there are gonna be some instances
we
coming,
don't
it
have an
can't be
assistant
just,
director. Our spring meetings are typically on the first of
You know.
the week that me and Harold and Kelly usually go to. Well, those are usually on Monday nights.
as we all
Let's-
know,
let's cut
it
his
just can't
pay
be
too,
black and white. You know, it just can't say,
But can I,
yeah,
what Van had said, earlier about making it case by case.
That's slippery. You got
That, you know, and who decides that? What if, somebody doesn't like, what if the mayor is the one who decides that, and he likes me better than you, and I get to take off and you don't? So there's some kind of parameters in there, maybe some kind of
Needs to be.
percentage.
And you could call anything work related, not used, but somebody could say,
Yeah.
maybe they're real estate business. They say, well, I had a real estate job that night, I'm just hypothetical.
no,
I think there's a lot of questions on this
Yeah,
that'd have to go to Bob to answer.
There's a lot, I mean, like my
Yeah.
oldest boy's 8th grade basketball night was on a Monday, I missed.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
there's
We
a
can't
lot,
cut
that's a
you.
slippery
I
slope.
missed it too.
Well, like I said, you've always
I
got
missed
that,
it too.
you've got an opportunity where we can publicly, you know, without taking him away, I think that's one step, if it's allowed to, like the Senate and the House does, you can censure for them not doing their job or not, or failing to perform their duty, you know, and like I said, you get a call out, so, you know, then, I don't know, there's a couple of things, not many, but, I think, you know, Bob's probably gonna give us the Star Trek thing, we're gonna go where no one has gone before, and
Whatever the first thing he tells you won't be the final thing he tells you, that's my concern.
I just feel sorry for people in any district that have a representative that won't go to the meetings and represent.
And they
two
can't do
others.
one thing about it,
And
there's no
not-
such thing as a recall,
They've got them for 4 years.
that's right.
And there's not anything. you can
Fortunately,
do
they've got a
about
second commissioner in that district, or it could have a second district in that commissioner and not be totally without
But
representation.
yours has 3.
That's right, we've got 3 in my district, me and Harold, and I can't remember who the other one is.
Let's move on, we'll wait to hear from Bob.
We'll wait till Bob, we'll refer to him.
Be here all night. I don't think
Right
we
now,
will.
I'm not putting it on the 9/8
Oh,
commission meeting. Commissioner Matt Tinker, tell us about virtual learning. Ooh, that got quiet.
We had a couple of people interested in knowing a little bit about that, so I can give you some information, you can ask questions, probably the best way to do it. Right now, while we're at school, there's 4 options basically that the kids have and the parents have. One is to come face-to-face school, which 80% of the kids have chosen to do. Second option is the virtual learning. The third option would be if we had to close down a classroom or a grade level or a school, would be remote learning, where the kids follow their normal schedule throughout the day, but it's all done digitally with a live instructor. And the fourth way would be homeschooling. And that, to go back to the virtual, the students all have a computer at home. They have a curriculum. We use the Florida virtual curriculum, which is used around the country. And it has a curriculum in there, and the teachers are expected to do some crosswalks between the Tennessee standards and the Florida standards, just to see what matches up when they are assigning them their work. And the teacher monitors, they meet with them every day for a few minutes to see if they have questions, to check in, to give them assignments, to grade, and give them feedback on their work. And, you know, that costs a little money for each student's registration into the program. But it's just an online tutorial, online class with the modules that they flow through that are assigned by a Loudon County teacher.
Is that the Florida one?
Yes.
How much does the 400 students doing this cost us?
It's $200 a student for the program, and then there are some stipends that are paid to the teachers to do that as well.
$200 to the company that's doing it?
Yes, sir.
So it's 400 instead of, I think, 700. It was
840
at
last I heard.
first.
Pardon me?
Was
It's not quite that many now. I think we're in maybe a little less than 750.
I got 400 or 800,
Didn't
750.
they have some trouble and some parents signed up 2 or 3 times the
Well,
same child?
on the initial signatures, yeah, some signed up multiple times. They weren't sure if they were doing it correctly.
Right.
And when
Can't kill me.
when we got the list of everyone that wanted to sign up, the principals called all of those people and explained to them what the process would be like and what all they would be responsible for. And hearing once we gave the parents a better explanation, the parents had a better understanding of what was going to be required of them and the student during the day, and several came off decided to come into school at that point. And we still have a little fluctuation. There are some who are coming back currently.
How much money do you anticipate receiving either through state or federal that will offset the cost? That's, at your numbers, that's $187,500, just hard numbers. I know it fluctuates from that.
Yeah, and there's the stipends there's some money there as well.
You're talking about stipends for our teachers to
Yeah,
be
'cause
participants in this?
Yeah, because they have to monitor them.
Well, let's say, again, how much do you anticipate getting back? In budget tonight, we spent a long time, and Tracy finally got a hold of Chad, because your request on your budget amendment takes you below your fund balance minimums. Was it $300,000, David, or something like that? Five, whatever it was. So we had a lot of questions about that sort of stuff, and we're all hoping to hear that the state or the feds are planning to send some kind of money to help offset this.
Well, there
270 was what was requested.
are plans, they have plans to do that very thing. But now the 200, that's already been paid for out of
So this was last year's budget.
some of the federal, well, not in the budget, but out of the ESSER grant that you may have heard about through the department and through the federal government. So a lot of these, the enrollment fees were paid out of there.
Matt, will a child, let's say that
But how much more? I don't know.
if a child enrolls in the virtual school, will they be required to stay there a full semester?
The idea is that you sign up for the virtual school, you are in it for the year, because we don't get the money back if you decide to come back. But there are some, what's allowed, not allowed. If the schools are open, can you say you can't come back? You know what I mean?
Charge them a $200 disconnect fee. I mean, I'm serious.
I understand.
If they want to drop out of the online, charge them $200 to reclaim at least some of that money.
I'll run that
Well,
by my boss.
I saw this on TV the other night. There's a lot of school, I think Maryville is going to use the Florida company.
Knox County,
Knox
Oak Ridge, have been a lot of.
Well, somebody making a lot of money.
So, yeah, this company was established before this virus, but they're really breaking it in now.
Yeah,
Kind of
but
like Zoom, they were around before the virus, but my
Yeah.
golly, their stock is up.
Yeah.
What did COVID numbers look like in the school system?
Can you, are you talking about
Just in like, has the kids been sent home, that has, like, what are we looking at?
that? So there are a lot of guidelines from the Department of Health that we follow about if a kid is sick at school, they have to go home for this many days, or they can have, if they have symptoms, then they can get a test. If it's negative, they can come back, they can go to the doctor, get an alternative diagnosis, like you're running a fever because you have an ear infection. Once that's cleared up, you can come back. So there are kids that go home, because of being sick and have to kind of follow the protocols that are put in place. As far as positive cases, we've had a couple of those.
What is,
And
y'all,
we contact trace those and turn it into Teresa Harrell with our local Department of Health, and then they make contacts and double check the tracing, then send us out, if there were any changes to anything like that.
almost impossible situation.
Well, I kind of am doing a lot of that, and it's about a full-time job just doing that.
what is the protocol for the school system gonna be? Say, Mrs. Brown teaches third grade and she has COVID.
Well, there are some different things that can be done.
Are those kids gonna have to leave school for 14 days?
Not necessarily. It would depend on if they had been in close contact with that teacher, being defined by 6 feet for 10 minutes or more at one time. If they were, then they would have to go home for 14 days.
Would they have to be tested before you send them
No,
home?
no.
What about a high school teacher who has multiple classes during the day, different groups, same thing?
Same thing.
Has this been field tested or any longitudinal studies been done to find out how successful the program will be? Because I know that was one of the main concerns, is making sure that each of the students will have a successful.
Well, I mean, they've been around for a while, and they are being used by some of the largest systems that we have in the state and throughout the country. So I think that, I don't know of the, all of the research behind that part, but they are, and maybe they're being used because they're one of the only ones, but they seem to know what they're doing when the interactions that we've had, and it's like anything new. There's been some hiccups in the first part, the learning curve, but everyone is settling into it, and it seems to be going pretty well. Today was, as far as, we've been back for a week and a half with some staggered days. I think today was one of our, you can see it starting to level off, and anxieties on parents and teachers and students evening out, and today was a good day.
Well, I think one good thing y'all done is having cross references as far as curriculum with Tennessee and Florida. That's a good step y'all have made.
Yeah.
So with our system, you talked about digital learning, is there gonna be a point in time where our teachers or personnel will be actually doing distance learning, presenting the lesson or something, or is that all gonna go through the Florida
No,
program?
if you're a Florida virtual student and the governor forced schools to close again, you would stay in your Florida virtual school. Let's say I'm a Florida virtual student, I keep doing that stuff. You're a regular face-to-face student, but now the governor or mayor or whoever said we have to go home and do what is called remote learning. Then you're a high school freshman and you have English 1 first block. At 8 o'clock, you would be on a Zoom or a Teams meeting with the rest of your class at 8 o'clock and your instructor, and that class would go for 90 minutes. Then there would be a 5-minute break, and at 9:35, you would have your algebra class with the rest of your kids and that instructor. So you would follow your regular day throughout the day. At lunchtime, you'd have your lunch and so forth.
Is this requiring us to hire some more people to monitor or whatever with the Florida program? Our kids,
We've paid our own people to do it.
so we had enough in-house people to take care of?
Yes, sir.
So the ones that are actually doing the teaching are our employees.
Well, they're not, there's no face-to-face instruction in the Florida virtual.
Okay.
Or very little.
They'd say,
That's a module, like, I don't know if you've ever, when I was first teaching, I got a job at Lowe's for like a part-time job, and when you start there, you have to go through all of these different modules to learn safety modules. So you watch somebody tell you all about the safety and how you put on this and how you put on that, and then you take a test at the end of that module. And if you pass that test, you move on to the next module. And that might be flooring. You go through all of the stuff about flooring, take a test on flooring, you pass that module. That's what it's like. The teacher checks in with them to see if they have any questions or are they having any hard time with a certain math standard, and they'll work with them on that. They'll grade their assignments, and now they can add in assignments. Let's say you have a harder class, AP class or something like that, then the teacher will adjust that class accordingly from what is in the modules to what they think they need in order for that to meet those standards.
And my only concern was I read an article where one of these folks that teaches in a virtual classroom was very concerned about conservative parents listening in and what they had to say. I just don't want any of our kids getting brainwashed.
I've talked to a few parents that are doing the virtual, and that's how they describe it. It's the platform's there. They're following it, but like this particular parent, their son does Spanish. He goes through his Spanish at 1:30, and then at 2:00, he has a face-to-face with Ms. Perez from the high school from 2 to 2:15. And she answers any questions and goes over what he's just done to help him if he has an issue. Then he goes to his Spanish class, then he has his history teacher that comes on 30 minutes later and asks questions, see if he has any issues. So
Yeah, they have daily, everyday contact.
every day they have contact. So the parents that I've talked to really have so far have just praised it and said it's really, really good.
Let's jump over
I
to
did- I'm sorry.
transportation, buses and parents. At Eaton's and North Middle, you can know my email's been lit up, and I tell everybody, I'm sure they're doing the very best they can do. But the way I understand it is, a lot of kids are choosing not to ride the buses now. Parents have chosen to take them themselves, which has greatly increased the car traffic, so.
I've been out there many days in the afternoon, these first few days, working to get that flowing better. In the afternoon, it's 25 minutes better now than it was on the first day. So it's coming along, and that's always the way it is at Eaton and North would start up at traffic. The staggered days helped because you didn't have people not knowing where to go when everyone was there.
Yeah.
So that was beneficial to let people make mistakes and still be able to get around.
What about buses? What's our bus service, participation? Do we have,
I don't know the numbers for that. I would imagine it's down.
it's bound to be way, way down. And
Well, we're
now,
20%.
Are they supposed to be putting 1 per seat or 2 per seat or?
How we'll load the bus, you put one, every other seat on, you load in the back. One here, not one on the right, not one on the left. Then you come up one, then you load that one. And then so you do it, and then you do that until that part is full, then you go back to the back and do the next one. And you do that until it's full, and then you have to double. And that way, by the time they start to double, you don't have that long left on the bus. So they try to space them out so that there's not brothers and sisters that sit together, but everyone else is spaced out. And windows are down in the front, middle, and back to increase the circulation of airflow and stuff, which is okay, in the mornings. Right now, it'll be a little colder when the wintertime gets here, but maybe we'll have
Put
some
your
kind
coat
of, vaccine or something by that
Buddy,
point.
love that.
It won't bother the kids.
Play freeze out. I always want freeze out.
Yeah.
I do have one question. We are getting to count all those kids virtually
Yes.
as in attendance.
We don't get to count.
Because I know that affects.
BEP.
We don't get to count, we do count the Florida virtual kids, but we do not get to count the 40 some odd kids who chose to go homeschool. So that will, and that doesn't impact this budget, it will impact next year's budget. That's how they do the numbers.
So that's just 40 that,
40 some that chose to go homeschool, but that's times however many thousand,
of
50,
course, then you could
600
see
or
them come
whatever it is.
back. You could see them.
They could, it's possible they could come back, but it will still impact the numbers next year because you don't have them this year. So the amount of money you will be allotted next year won't be based on if they come back that year. It'd be
Don't they
based on.
just BEP quarterly? I think they do it about quarterly, don't they?
No, I don't think you get, I think they take it, but I think you're set at the beginning. Now, I could be wrong on that, but I
You may
think
be
they
right.
take it every once in a while.
Yeah.
But I think it's set.
Can you tell us your enrollment right now, virtual and in building?
Well, let me look here if you can give me.
Have they taken
I don't have my
attendance?
computer. It's on
That's all right.
like I've been working on our safety grant, and all of the numbers are in the updated spreadsheets for our Loudon County Safety Manual. So I can't visualize them
That's
all
all
in my
right.
head right now.
Did we see any increase in students this year? Or?
Well, we're having there are increases on this end of the county for sure.
Oh, good.
They're coming up from Monroe County.
No, stop, no, they're not.
No.
According to how fast they can run, that's what I've been told down
Now,
here.
they,
Red is retired, I beg your pardon.
Greenback too, though.
but down on this end, in the elementary schools are still growing.
Well, they've had a lot of influx of building houses
Yeah.
down here, so.
So
Here's
we-
your hard one. Have we, since this started, and I'm not trying to make a point, I'm just really curious. Since this started at spring break last year to now,
Mhm.
has there been any layoffs whatsoever due to the COVID? Has anybody been said, sorry, we can't take you, we
There
might
were,
cut you loose,
there were a couple of positions not filled.
but nobody was cut loose?
No, sir.
Okay.
Man, was there any, and when Tracy talked to us this afternoon, is where I'm coming from, of dipping down below the certain number, but were there any savings by utilities, by transportation, and other things that could go back into 141 or whatever during this COVID epidemic? Or you know?
I don't know. Maybe there could have been some on, with the electric bill and some things like that, but, as far as, buses, they ran it, and they ran, to do food distributions.
This summer?
And they ran all summer doing, food distributions as well, so, you know, without, you know, just based on their old contract, and a lot of people have said, you know, why did they continue to get paid? And people were paid and they were working. Now, were they working the same amount of time? You know, I wasn't in everyone's home, but I know there were lots. My kids were on Zoom calls with teachers every day. Both my kindergartner and my other daughter, she was in 6th grade, and so they were doing work with the faculty every day.
And you had teachers doing lunch
And
programs,
you had lunch,
after-school
and
lunch programs.
and you had a lot of
on
people
Zoom.
that came out. You had hundreds who came out to do the feedings every week too. And the feedings it was almost 200,000 meals that were given out from March until the end of July. Mhm.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Matthew?
He did good for the assistant director, didn't he?
Mr. Tinker, thank you. I found that very informative.
Mhm.
Okay, Buddy Bradshaw, take us through the budget amendments.
Mr. Chairman, Budget Committee met this afternoon at 4 o'clock. There was some, Circuit Court Clerk Harrelson brought us just some information. He's moving some things around just to make sure we all knew. One new process is that moving forward with jury duties, that the finance department is just gonna send the clerk one big check. They're gonna disperse them out with cards and such. The big discussion was elected officials' wages. When this commission passed budget in June, the fee office holders' raises were left inside the budget. They have received that pay since July the 1st. They increased 3% raise. 3.5% raise since that date. Budget Committee voted to cease that raise effective September 15th, pending vote on September the
8th.
whatever our meeting is.
It's gonna be the
Tuesday after Labor Day.
That was a 4-1. General Purpose School Fund, 141, Matt touched a little bit on that a while ago, but 270,000 for the virtual learning was dispensed there. Virtual school stipend, and that was spent out of fund balance. 142 was just some line adjustments. Capital Projects Committee approved, and so did the Budget Committee to vote 4-1 to fund a $696,506 out of Fund 177 AFT for capital projects for the schools in year 1 and 2 of their plan. There was a vote to remove $2,500 for Run Loco from the amount given to Loudon County Education Foundation. And we've also got an Ether, will be increasing, some of the money they give us about $14,000.
I'm
Any
sorry,
questions?
what did you say about Ezra?
They're gonna increase, one of the grants, we get through them by 14,000.
Okay.
They canceled.
Okay, if there's no questions, they'll be on the September 8th commission meeting.
No questions?
I think we probably ought to have a conversation amongst the group of us about the, fee office holders.
I was gonna say, I thought that released our.
Yeah, and I'll do it, David can do it, whatever, but I won't speak for another soul here, but from being the budget committee and from sitting back here, all we went through, as far as I was concerned, we had removed all raises. That's when we took the 2.5% off. So when it was all said and done, technically, possibly legally, that really never did get a vote to remove those. Thus far, and by the time we would vote on this, they will have received in their paychecks about $465. The discussion in the budget committee, guys, y'all were sitting there with me, was we hope that in December, we're gonna be able to do about a $500 bonus for our rest of our employees. We don't wanna go back and try to take the fee office holders' pay that they've already gotten, but that will be their bonus. But if this passes at the next meeting, that salary is gonna go back to what it was 19 and 20 rather than giving any raises, because 3.5% for elected officials, $80,000, and 0 for our rank and file employees that's a hard one to tolerate.
Well, I really thought that when we took that vote that night, that there was nothing in there, and I thought that was your all's recommendation.
We thought it was.
And I thought that we had discussed it, but of course I did go back and look at the video too. I think it was assumed that it was out of there, that we were not given, there's no fairness in there either.
Well, everything that was presented, the raises themselves were taken out and out of adoption. Those were never, I don't think I heard Vance say them all the way back. They were never specifically named in the final budget process we had. They were still included. I was alone dissenting vote on that, simply because it's gonna more likely cost us a clean audit.
If you can find
It's gonna
out,
cost us what?
Their clean audit.
Mr. Mayor, can you find out from the controller, or whoever, definitely, and report to us on that night, because it was our mistake. I mean, flat out.
Well, I mean, it didn't matter if it was done that night or tonight or September the 3rd, it's still gonna be an audit finding.
You can't just leave all that money in there to cover an audit finding. I mean, we made a mistake, we need to fix it.
That was very much discussed in budget committee, and even Tracy said, this may or may not be an audit finding, but if this is not, or if we didn't do it and there's not, she said, we may get an audit finding for something
Maybe
else,
something
so
else entirely.
don't make a decision on what you're planning to do just because, I mean, that was true, I'm not speaking out of turn.
No, that's right.
That, she said, don't make a decision based on whether or not it's an audit finding, because if you do this, don't get it, then we get one on not segregating the sheriff's department's duties, is what we used to get all the time. She said, we could get audit findings for anything, so, I'm kinda gonna echo and say in the budget, the same thing. I can't go along with, we made a mistake, leave it alone just because we might or might not get an audit finding, so
Not unless you were willing to go back and justify that mistake
Now,
by taking a
historically-
new vote and, giving our county employees
we're
that money.
1.57 million in the hole, so I would rather wait till December, and I think a $500 bonus is gonna be as
all
effective to most of them as a 2% raise would have been.
Now, keep in mind too, that our fee office holders, they go on prior year's recommendation.
Right.
So now, no state officials got them this year. Next year, they won't be entitled
Do
to
anything.
a raise.
To 0.
Yeah, so.
Plus, I agree that when we did the budget, they were out of there. That was our intent. And Tammy just whispered in my ear, she remembers that too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
remember even that.
I'm not sure how we missed that. The meeting that it probably was discussed at, and nobody knows this for sure, because I don't think it was on video, was the June 3rd meeting when we presented to the full commission. That's when I think it was discussed, but there's no record of that as far as I'm aware of. But Budget Committee, we thought we had taken care of it on our end.
What about next year when they're not entitled to a raise, we're gonna give one anyway?
We'll see. See what next year brings. I got no confidence in the state getting anything done right. They have proven themselves to have less competency than, by far, than this body does.
They are entitled to a raise, but doesn't mean we have to give it, is that what you're saying?
Next year,
Yeah.
since it reflects prior year, the next year they actually wouldn't be in line for a raise. It would stay what it is now.
It'd be the following year, if anything.
And if we do
But
leave
the
it like
raise
it
that they
is,
currently
we'll
got,
maybe
they were
bring it up to where it
entitled to
needs to
that
be
raise.
next year to.
The state.
And I guess I'm a little bit proud of our audits as well. I know our people, our employees are extremely proud of them. I just hate to go willingly into it and say, "Psh, it's just not," because our people take a lot of pride in that. But I understand too, that's a lot of money. I understand commission as well, commission's seat y'all are in as well. I mean, that's everybody from the animal shelter, the libraries, to Tracy Blair. They take a lot of pride in that. I just, that's my thing. I'm very proud of our people for doing that. I know they take a lot of pride in it.
Can we go to, we got this one covered?
I think we do. It'll be on the September 8th meeting for a vote by
That's why I
all.
wanted we put it on there, I wanted everybody on the commission to have a chance to vote on it.
Yeah.
I still didn't get my question answered either. I understand that you're saying that they were entitled to it according to last year, right? All right, but next year, where they won't get one because it says,
They didn't get one this year.
right? So, say the following year, they say, elected officials get such and such. We can still vote that no, right?
We can, yes.
It's just a recommendation, is that correct?
And it's an audit findings, if you're not at the minimum. And of course, now keep in mind, year after next.
But
is
aren't we
20
always aren't we above the minimum?
Not on the
The
fee
office
officer.
holders are not.
The three top ones are the ones that are way above.
Way
Way above.
But keep in mind, in 2022, the census will take effect, and so it's gonna be a sizable.
Huge increase in our elected official salaries paid.
In 2022?
We'll do is start
When the numbers come out. they'll start putting them
reapportionment will
out.
be next year. It'll probably start this year, it'll be official next year, 2021, and so it'll probably go into effect in 2022. It's all based on when the census. gets
21,
done.
22 budget will be,
I hope everybody did their census.
very potentially could be sizable. Depends on the census, how many of them get shot at and run off. Cause it happens.
The only thing on the night of the 29th, and I'm reading it, Commissioner Brewster made a motion for an amendment to distribute $200 bonus for county full-time employees, excluding elected county officials and members appointed to boards, and a $75 bonus for part-time employees at Christmas time in the amount of less than $50,000. Commissioner Whitfield seconded the motion. The amendment does not include teachers, only county employees. I call for a roll call vote, and the amendment fails, 6-4. Okay.
All right.
See, I took it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one, as he read it, and my friend over here has already said, I never give up, but it wasn't my fault. The request for Run Loco, the request for the money was for Run Loco, $2,500. Budget committee took out $1,500 of it, down to $1,000. Commissioner Duff amended the budget the night of to add the $1,500 back for Run Loco.
That's okay.
Last
You
week,
got
they
that.
announced on their website that they have canceled Run Loco. So the budget committee has recommended that we rescind that contribution, and then next year, if they intend to do it again, they can come back and ask again. I think that passed unanimously,
No,
didn't it?
it's okay.
So it wasn't me, they did it themselves.
Van, I think you brought out a good point. They have a reserve of what?
$441,000.
Yeah.
How much?
$441,000. With nearly $70,000 in salaries.
Those two will be on the September 8th commission meeting for a vote by all the commissioners.
Something besides pencils and rulers.
Okay,
And I think that's about it as far as budget goes.
okay, thank you, Mayor.
I have a question for Ms. Brewster. I think you're on it. Can you give us an ethics meeting, the meeting y'all had update, and I think maybe there's another one coming. Can you tell us what's going on with the ethics committee and the juvenile department?
Well, right now, our ethics committee is meeting this week, happens to be Wednesday at 12 noon here at the annex. We have invited, Judge Dale and Judge Sledge have been invited to make sure that we have dotted our i's, crossed our t's. And we are gonna be discussing, it's gonna be in response to Bob Bowman's legal opinion and recommendations on the situation that involved one of our county directors, and to discuss if this falls under county policy procedures. And so that is where we are. Bob has given his opinion and his recommendations.
In a nutshell, I mean, the really short one, what's Bob's opinion and recommendation?
Actually, in a nutshell, he did find that under policy and procedures, there was some violations. And TCA code, there were some violations.
So y'all gonna take it up this Wednesday, you're addressing.
We're going to address it and make recommendations. We're going to talk and then address it and go over Bob's letter and make recommendations, I hope, to Judge Dale.
And as I understood, Mr. Dale, well, I didn't understand, I was sitting here, Mr. Dale was here, and what I heard Mr. Dale say, I've done all I'm gonna do, it's my job, my position, I'm doing nothing else. So if you all do make a recommendation to Mr. Dale, and Mr. Dale, do we have any other recourse?
We can defund our part of the,
We can begin to look at
was that what Mr.
changing
Bowman
over
said?
the funding or defunding.
By half?
Whatever our part is, 30. I know
About
Mr.
36,000, I think.
Yeah,
Is there, have y'all got a merit board meeting coming?
Oh,
Or
yes.
you on that one too?
Oh, yes. And we have a merit board meeting Thursday night, right, Thursday night at 6 o'clock here at the annex.
Can you tell us, without, I mean, I don't know what you can or can't do, what's the situation of the merit board? I've been on it in the past, I know it's apparent when somebody's fired, they don't like it, they get to appeal the merit board, so you hear so we've had somebody dismissed.
Service protected from deputies, yes. They can
Yes.
appeal.
Say that again, please.
Deputies can appeal through the merit board through civil service.
Yes, we have had someone that has been dismissed and they have asked to come before the merit board and plead their case. And that's really basically all I can tell you at this point. There's very strict regulations on the merit.
I think I saw in the digest, there was
we could tell you more, but we'd have to kill you.
I don't want that.
Tell him more.
Don't do that.
That's nice when the number 2 man in charge.
Okay.
What about, we've not moved in the jail yet, and I understand we have more problems.
I heard we were closer and closer.
I heard found more missing telephone lines, and they've still not moved a soul or a stitch of anything
I
in
think
the
there are
new
more
jail.
problems.
Huh?
Yeah, more problems.
Right now Jimmy's out with shoulder surgery, hoping.
And the sheriff's hiding from the COVID.
I'll get with,
But he's gonna be here for the merit board meeting.
You think?
No, he
Jimmy or sheriff?
well, supposedly both of them.
Psh, come on.
Jimmy has to watch it, he's on FMLA. Really don't trick yourself up.
Does anybody affiliated with the jail know if we've given inmates laptops now? Buddy,
Do what?
have we given our inmates laptops now?
I've still got, not that I'm aware of, where you going with this?
Well, I had a deputy call me and said, why do the inmates have laptops now?
Why would we do that?
It's so they can communicate remotely, is my understanding.
With who?
family, with,
So are you saying they have a laptop in
I'm
their
saying
cell?
inmates have a
I
laptop.
wonder
In their
more, they have
cells.
access to one.
I don't know.
Don't they have one on the wall?
I got a
Now,
call from
there's
an officer that
something
says,
that
why
says-
in the HELL do the inmates have laptops?
That'd be a good question for somebody higher up in the sheriff's department.
The only thing I know, they can go on a screen and talk to their family.
Henry,
Maybe that's what it is.
But they're not in the new building yet.
would,
Those are in the new building. And
Yeah.
if they're not in there, then that
That's
would make
it,
it
they
more
can't do
difficult.
it. Go ahead.
I make a request, that our chairman of the commission make a few phone calls tomorrow and find out what's going on with the jail and then shoot us an email.
We've done it other.
Is that done?
How about you ask Mr. Tinker about, greenback bleachers while we're sitting here? You wanna take that now or later?
Well, I just noticed where part of the request today was $100,000 for Loudon High School bleachers. And it just kinda caught my attention since Greenbacks is in such a sorry state that if there was any consideration or if that's, and of course, it's not really, that should be our school board members' job. And I didn't know, I know I only saw 1 and 2 on the 5-year plan. I don't know if that's something that is on the 5-year plan or not. But I can tell you it's something that's sorely needed in the
Well-
worst way.
I can give you some advice.
So,
When any other commissioner who's, whose schools are on the 5-year plan. After year 1 and 2, years 3, 4, and 5 get revisited. Things come up, things change. Some things may have been paid for out of different grants or whatever. So you would want, they will be reprioritized. And so I would speak with my school board representative and the principal out there to add whatever on the list that needs to be added. You see where I'm saying there?
oh, I know, like I said, I shouldn't have to.
Well, I think, if you're talking about Greenback, I think Phil is working on putting that together as we speak.
I hope so.
So I think that they're working, but the items that were on here came from things that maintenance knew were problems and things that the principals had turned in.
Should we expect request for year 3 money next month? We got year 1 last month, year 2 this month.
Okay, so that's not, not even fair, because the end of the
I'm sorry, it
fiscal
was
year.
May was first.
The end of the fiscal year is in June, so we tried to wait until the end. But now we see the error in for waiting, because a lot of the money wasn't able to be encumbered in that short a period of time, and it was too much work for the maintenance department to get done over the summer. So we asked for the money this new fiscal year, for year 2, so that all of the kitchen equipment and things of that nature can be done over fall break, Christmas break, spring break, so that it doesn't all have to try to be crammed into one summer, especially if there's a pandemic going on and the maintenance department, has.
I just want to know if Satterfield's gonna get his bleachers from phase 3 before football season.
Not this year. So we wouldn't, of course, ask for any phase 3, year 3, until
This time next.
this time in 2021.
And I only voted no on that because I tried to get more money for the AFT, and I got
understand
voted
your-
down 9-1,
I understand.
so I voted no on
Taking
AFT.
away from other children.
As opposed to all of your other yes votes for
I
education.
voted yes on too many.
Okay.
I'll make an unofficial motion.
No, 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 no.
Whoa.
Okay, Commissioner Waller.
1 year, 9 months and 5 days ago,
Back in town, should be working on it this week.
Now,
Hey, hang on a minute, guys, listen,
Hold on.
doing what?
who's in town, yeah, I want to hear
Back
this
in
one.
town. He was out of town last week.
Where's he been last year?
You sure?
Very
So you two are gonna have conniption fits over.
I've had no connection with it. I've had a conversation
Done it
about
this
it.
week.
It's not that, but I said,
So when do we expect it to
surely
be filed in court?
somebody has
Next
to
week?
address
What?
Greenback situation on.
Hang on, listen,
I would imagine, I can't speculate, but
The Mark Matlock roof situation we're dealing with.
November 13th, I wanna read you something. November 13th, 2018. Mr. Matlock came before the BZA. He was cited in because he built a building on a property line. It started out as a wall, a privacy wall. And they all told Mr. Matlock, what are you doing? Yes, I built this. Well, I had to put a roof on it because sticks was falling in my pool. The action that was taken by the BZA, November 13th, 2018, November 13th, 2018, Mr. Brooks moved to deny his variance to leave his building. There was a lack of a second. Mr. Matlock then presented more pictures to the BZA. Chairman McCatherine stated that Mr. Matlock had built a structure on the property line in violation of setbacks and was calling it something else. He could take the structure back down to what it was previously without a roof, and if he had complaints about tree limbs falling, he should contact his neighbor or his insurance company. And that the BZA did not get involved in that kind of issue. Mr. Napier then seconded the motion to deny the variance, and Mr. Matlock is to remove the roof and take it back to how it previously existed, which was unanimously approved. Mr. Matlock confirmed that he would take it back to open structure that it had been previously. November 13th, 2018. $50 a day fine, and Mr. Matlock hadn't done doodly squat about it. And my problem is I could care less about Mr. Matlock. We're gonna either stop enforcing anything, or we're gonna enforce this one. We don't tell one person they don't have to do it, and everybody else, you gotta comply with the regulations. That's gotta stop. He's gotta go to court and
And
let the
I'm trying
judge
to keep us
decide.
out of a lawsuit that we're not guaranteed to win either. It's coming up.
He's in violation
I
of
agree.
Loudon County
But he
zoning.
takes it to court, it's not a shoe-in win either.
Why?
Nothing is.
Well, it's a shoe-in as you get. He's built it that far on the
Bob's been in
property
contact
line.
with his attorney as well as Mr. Matlock.
Has nothing to do with Matlock's.
It's got nothing to do with Matlock's attorney. This is a county violation.
And the papers are going in as soon as he gets them filed. He's working on this week, he's been out of town, we've not been the top priority.
By
because
the
it's
next
not
time we
very
meet, we'll have a voting meeting. I'll just go ahead and put this in the form of an ideal. If Bob Bowman hadn't got this man cited in court, it's gonna be my position. We hire an attorney to take this up.
Fair enough.
Obviously, Bob doesn't wanna do it. He's not gonna do
No,
it.
but
He
again, we're
tells
trying to work
us-
out a retainer
But he
as well.
tells us you won't let him.
No,
You
we've
have
talked
to-
about this.
he has
the
to have
last
your permission
3
to
or
do
4
this.
months. We've talked about this, at least 3 or 4 months.
But nothing's happened. I mean, how many times do we need to talk about this? But I wanna get an attorney that will sue the man's britches off and make him take the roof off of his building.
It'll come, or we're going to court over it. So we're not guaranteed to win it either.
Well, we never are on that, but we still can't just turn our eyes to somebody that
Turning our eyes to it.
absolutely refuses to comply.
And we're not turning a blind eye to it, I'm just telling you,
Well,
when it goes to court, we may not win.
What would that mean then? We'd have to go back and change the BZA and Planning Commission, cause in essence, if he sided with Matlock, the judge is telling us that your rules have no
And I'm
standing.
gonna build a pool house, I don't have a pool, I'll build a house on my property line then, if that's the case.
We just do away with
Well,
all of our
there's a lot of
zoning.
moving parts that is that is considered a roof. You get a jury, if it goes to court, you get up in front of a jury.
It's a
They can
roof
decide.
covered with a bathroom and kitchen and fireplace and pool house. Yeah, it's a roof.
Satellite television.
Satellite
Like it has the
television.
little boards across.
No, sir, this is a metal tin roof. There is no dispute about whether it's a roof. It's a roof. Oh,
Jim, is
sure.
it a roof?
Jim, yeah, is it a roof?
This is the last time I
Well,
Jim said it was a roof.
all right, I see
No,
what
sir.
you're saying.
Can't-
The-
How about you,
It's
Jim?
a yay or
Anyway,
nay.
Can we,
Bob is on, but again, it's something we're not guaranteed to win, and we keep.
So
it
we
in
don't
retainer.
enforce anything if we
No, that's
can't
not what
win.
I'm saying.
excuse me,
But he's taking it to
excuse
court.
me,
Excuse me,
can we
did you
cite,
burp?
can we cite Mark Matlock?
He's been cited $50 a day.
Can we cite Mark Matlock to come to county commission?
We have no say on it.
I don't think we have anything.
BZA does, we have no say over what BZA does.
Yeah, I don't think, they've done their part. They've done all we can do
So if
for,
we have no say so.
They told them to remove it.
and he said he would, absolutely. November 18th, 2018.
In his defense, he didn't say when he would remove it.
That's true.
When something-
In the minutes, it doesn't say
When
when,
something freezes over, was that when it was?
That's what it was.
but he's trying to turn this into everything it's not. I don't know why
But
we've let this go
If
this
you're saying
long.
we have no say so, and we can't cite him to come here, then why would we hire an attorney to,
To enforce county policy.
It's
It's
gonna
our
enforce the
policy. This
zoning
is what we
regulations.
adopted.
okay, so we cite him to come here so that we can say to him, okay, we've given you X number of time, we've done everything we're gonna do. let's get moving on this, because
We
he's
can't
not
enforce that.
hearing us.
Well,
He doesn't
that's
have to
why
hear
Bob
us.
is gonna put the injunction, file the injunction with court.
That's the enforcement mechanism, is the
That's
court.
it,
It's
right there.
BZA and then the courts. I mean, we could ask him to come, but I know what you're gonna get from that one. He knows he don't have to come here. He blew off the BZA for going on 2 years now. He's not too worried about them.
We can always send a deputy to get him.
Do what?
We can always send a deputy to get him.
We could.
There's your lawsuit.
There's one.
He's, yeah. All right, I'm done. I'm done. I
Okay.
forgot about that.
Anything else?
Unofficial motion to adjourn.
Okay, and just remember, on September 8th, we'll elect the commission officers for next year. Okay.
I will not be here.
Gotta have a baby. Yeah, what about some crap there?
Gotta
Isn't it?
pick up a baby.
Do you know what it is? You
Little
know,
girl.
Little girl?
Oh, congratulations.
No, he's got a little boy.
Where do you pick them up, Costco?
I wish, I love Costco.
He stays at Costco. He lives at
I was there
Costco.
earlier today.
He's got stock in Costco,
Are we
kinda like
done?
Kelly and
We're
Carmichael
done.
Inn. She lives at Carmichael Inn.
And no stop.
I think Kelly's on staff at Carmichael.
Yeah.
That's what teaching.
Yes, sir, one question.
That's what
Regarding,
teaching been.
The meeting.
We're not getting that. You go right down Mountain Ridge Road on the way home, pull in her house.
You all thought that you don't need to have your
That's right. That's straight home.
City quick.
Thank you, Chet.
Pat,
Thank you.
July 12th. Well, right now she's in